All right, what's up, guys? Today I'm here to talk about a little something different. It's been on my mind for a while, and hopefully it's something you guys are interested in talking about too. It's about a podcast that I really like, honestly, and I wish this wasn't the case, like what's been happening recently. But it's about Reconnected. Yes, it used to be called Disconnected. It used to be on the No Jumper platform, and then they kind of separated and did their own thing. But recently, it just hasn't felt the same. Like, a few things have happened internally which like kind of changed the overall dynamic of the podcast. So they used to be dropping really consistently even when they were doing Disconnected. Maybe they missed like one episode like here and there, but most of the time they were like coming back every week. They were doing their thing. They seemed like really consistent and devoted to, what they were trying to build. And I just want to say this really sucks for me to talk about, because this podcast like would often like help me get through my day at work and stuff, and I'll just throw it on and it would make the day go by like a little faster. And every Thursday I was like honestly looking forward to it. But as of late, just things have been changing, I noticed. So their last real stream was 3 weeks ago, as you can see, and they've kind of missed a few weeks since then. They had a few technical difficulties here on episode 70. They tried to get the stream going, but it just wasn't happening. And like, I don't know if the internet isn't very good sometimes where they do the podcast. They uploaded one 1 minute and 46-second video and one 1 minute and 38-second video. I think they tried and then just said F it and like didn't figure out the issue and just called it a night. And here's where it gets crazy. So like Yuri, as you guys know, Harmonious Yuri, I think on Twitch is his name. He's kind of like the technical guy who sets up the stream and makes sure everything is running smoothly. Even the rest of the people seem like they know that they rely on him to have like a smooth stream and make sure everything's working properly. And the days he's not there, it's kind of been a shit show. Like, you could tell like Housephone and Potlord and Blasey, they want to be self-sufficient, but they don't really know what the fuck that they're doing, like when it comes to like the streaming thing and like the equipment. Even though it's pretty simple, you just press start stream and end stream and like a few things in between. But every time Yuri's been gone, like they just risk having a really poor quality stream and like things go wrong. And they would often get on Yuri for like not putting up as many clips as they wanted him to. I guess he was getting paid a little bit more than everybody else to produce shorts and clips on YouTube, which he did sometimes. Even though I think one time there was like a clip that was like an hour long, and I was just like, how is this a clip? This is like damn near the whole podcast. Like this one, Housephone breaks down the Kendrick Lamar pop-out concert, which is like almost an hour long, and I'm just like, how is that a clip? Like, you just re-recorded the whole podcast damn near. The podcast just seems off, like the dynamic between these guys. Yuri's been like gone like hella weeks doing his own thing. It just seems like they care more about what they have going on individually than coming together and like sitting down and doing a podcast every week. And that's really how it comes off. They might be like busy, doing their own thing, which is understandable. Like Blasey owns his own company with nothing personal, and Housephone has High Rollers, which is completely understandable. But without the podcast, like all of their separately owned things and projects they're working on would be a lot less popular. It's kind of like two parts to the same machine. Like, you kind of need both things working properly to like have a well-oiled machine, And like ever since like the whole Yuri like Moist Critical drama, I don't know, everybody's just been hating on Yuri so hard, and I kind of feel bad for him. There's people criticizing his like alcoholism and like him always needing to like drink and stuff, and things kind of escalating from that. And I'm sorry, I have a problem with like Housephone. He controls the conversation so often. It's like crazy. Like this, for this clip, this is just an hour of him explaining this thing and like nobody else really chiming in. And he would get upset if like somebody like contributes one thing and like cuts him off to say like one thing, he would get frustrated and be like, can I just finish this like point or thought? Other times I think he's great, but I think it's just like a matter of him like letting other people contribute to the conversation. Like sometimes he just gets so frustrated and like accuses other people of cutting him off when he's doing 90% of the talking. Oh, it's just so frustrating. He just seems so tone deaf to like the other people around him. He would get so pissed off if like one person just like says something super quietly. Meanwhile, he just like interrupts other people and just like, it's not good, man. And he's funny and like his sense of humor is there, and like I think they're all funny, honestly. I'm not trying to just bash this whole podcast because I really liked it and was a consistent viewer for like a lot of weeks, and it sucks that I'm like criticizing it like this, but it doesn't look good for the Biggest Bros entertainment. I have a Reddit page that I was going through of the Biggest Bros here, and I think this guy, this DDBXL, said something pretty accurate. Maybe I don't agree with it fully, but he says, nah, Blasey is starting his own stream, and that shit's probably gonna be the move going forward. Urinal, aka Yuri, made Biggest Bros toxic with his alcoholism and his short fuse with his girl and everyone around him. In conjunction with his very out there fashion sense and inability to productively converse or add to the podcast as a host, this pod will probably fade out or hopefully revive the phoenix with some new blood that will replace him with Ryder or a rotating guest spot. Dude is literally the same as a begging homeless person. It's just that he does it online instead of some exit off the 110 freeway. Okay, I don't really agree fully with this statement. I think he does add to the podcast. He kind of has like a contrasting view, which I think is cool. I think it's needed. Like, it's more interesting when you have somebody who kind of doesn't just agree with whatever's being said and he has a different perspective on things. I think he does add something to the pod. However, people seem to like Ryder Studios. He also has a clothing company or brand. People seem to really like him when he sits in for Yuri, so I could kind of see that being the permanent thing, and he's kind of more versed in like the fashion world, so I could definitely see that being a good fit for the podcast. But I don't know, it just seems like everything was working so smoothly at first, and now it's just like they just seem more focused on their own individual like plans and projects. Yesterday I rechecked it because I was like, oh sweet, it's Thursday, maybe there's an episode. I was at work and I was like, oh, maybe there's an episode. But then it was weird. It was like a premiere. It was in like a premiere mode. Like there was gonna be a pod, but then it just like the time that it said passed. So I was just like, okay, I guess maybe they had planned to do something, but like it fell through again. I don't know what the hell is going on at this point. But yeah, they have had some really high moments, literally and metaphorically. I really enjoyed this Ass Pizza episode with what is his name, Ass Pizza Brian or something. That was a pretty interesting pod. They've had a lot of interesting pods and interesting guests. They've had Fulcrum on. That was a good one. But yeah, they've had a lot of good episodes, but it just seems like it's fizzling away at this point, which is kind of sad to see. Honestly, I think the best like person on the pod is Blasey. Like, he's just such a funny dude, and like he just has firsthand experience of like running a business, and like I think his eye for fashion is good, and music, and he just has like the funniest comments ever. I think most of the people go to see Blasey, honestly, and House Phone. I'm not going to take anything away from him as well, but sometimes House Phone can be annoying, and sometimes he could be really funny. Like, I don't know. He brings a lot of energy to the pod, too, which I like. It just seems like the Titanic that is slowly sinking over time. I just wanted to talk about that really quick. Hopefully they could turn things around. We'll see. Like, if Yuri's gonna continue doing it. I know he mentioned like moving a couple times, and he kind of wants a change of scenery from like LA, the LA lifestyle. I can't imagine he'll continue doing the pod once he moves. I mean, that's gonna be a lot of traveling, especially being like a full-time streamer. So Pot Lord has been in a lot of drama recently. I've heard some things. I don't really know what to believe about him. I heard like he lives off of his girlfriend, and like I don't know. I've heard a lot of things. I don't really even know what's true or like false with him at this point. There's probably like more things I want to say about this, but nothing's coming to mind right now. And I like every single member of this podcast: Potlord, Housephone, Yuri, Blasi, Ryder, even like all of the crew members at the Sandbox. Like, they've really built a very cool, dynamic, and like fun environment with their podcast. So yeah, this was a really cool episode too. Donnie the Dybbuk, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but I look at all the videos I've watched. I've listened to most of these in their entirety, so I am honestly a fan of the show, and I've seen like their growth. Like when they first started out, look at this, episode 2, all red. I've watched all of these, even the ones that aren't. I think I just pressed it again to like rewatch it because I wasn't sure if I had watched it all entirely, but I just noticed there's like, oh, that's the after show. I was like, why is there 2 episode 4s? But yeah, I hope they're able to bounce back and come back even stronger. So that's pretty much it. I just wanted to talk about this. I thought it was pretty interesting what's going on with them recently, and yeah, that's about it. See ya.